Commander Thexnari stared at the tactical display in disbelief, her 6 compound eyes scanning the data streams repeatedly. The massive Zephyrian dreadnought sensors had been tracking the human fleet for 17 standard cycles, watching their steady approach toward the contested Vega system. Now, in the span of a single heartbeat, 300 human vessels had simply vanished. "Sensor malfunction," growled Captain Kravak from his position at the weapons console. The hulking Grimdari's cybernetic implants whirred as he ran diagnostics. No fleet just disappears. Not that many ships. The bridge of the ZRS Stellar Dominance buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 12 different species had gathered to witness what they believed would be humanity's first and likely final major defeat in deep space. The Terran colonial fleet had dared to challenge the established order by claiming mining rights to the mineral-rich worlds of Vega 7 and Vega 12. Admiral Zifros of the Hegemony Council floated near the central command platform, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. "This is impossible. Our combined fleet of 2,000 vessels had them completely surrounded. Where could they have gone?" Lieutenant Exandra, the Zephyrian communications officer, looked up from her console with visible confusion. "Sir, I'm detecting no hyperspace signatures, no temporal distortions, no dimensional rifts. It's as if the human fleet simply ceased to exist." The massive view screen dominated the bridge's forward wall, showing the empty void where moments before 300 human ships had been maintaining formation. The scene was eerily peaceful, just the distant glow of Vega's binary stars and the scattered debris of asteroid mining operations. Commander Thexnari had fought humans twice before. Both encounters had ended in stalemate, but they had taught her something disturbing about the species. Humans never retreated without purpose, and they never abandoned a strategic position unless they had found a better one. "Expand sensor sweep to maximum range," she ordered. "Check for cloaking signatures, stealth fields, anything that might." "Contact." Exandra's voice cut through the bridge chatter. Multiple signals, emerging at bearing 27 Mark 8 distance. "Impossible." "Report," Thexnari demanded. "The signals are coming from inside Vega 7's atmosphere." "But that's impossible, sir. Nothing that size could enter atmospheric flight without massive energy signatures. We would have detected." The view screen shifted to show Vega 7, a massive gas giant with swirling storms larger than Earth's moon. And rising from its cloudy depths, like ancient sea monsters emerging from oceanic trenches, came the human fleet. But they weren't the same ships. Captain Kravak's mechanical jaw actually dropped. By the void. What have they done? The vessels emerging from Vega 7's atmosphere were transformed. Where before there had been angular, utilitarian human designs, now sleek, organic-looking ships rose like living creatures. Their hulls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting rhythmically. Energy patterns flowed across their surfaces like neural networks. "Sir," Exandra's voice was barely a whisper. "I'm reading biosignatures from those ships. But not human biosignatures. There's something else entirely." Admiral Zifros's crystalline form began to vibrate with what his species expressed as fear. "Scan them. Full spectrum analysis. I want to know what we're dealing with." The results that appeared on the tactical displays sent a collective shudder through the bridge. The human ships weren't just transformed, they were alive. Massive organisms that had somehow merged with or consumed the original vessels. Hull plating had become chitinous armor. Weapon systems had evolved into organic weapons that pulsed with bioluminescent energy. "Commander," Exandra reported, her voice tight with controlled panic, "I'm receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. It's in perfect galactic standard, but the linguistic patterns are unlike anything in our databases." "Put it through." The voice that emerged from the communication system was unmistakably human in its cadence and inflection, but there was something else woven through its harmonics that suggested multiple consciousnesses speaking in perfect unity. "Greetings, Allied forces," the voice said with unsettling politeness. "We appreciate your patience during our adaptation period. We are no longer the colonial fleet you were tracking. We are something new." Commander Thexnari found her voice. "Identify yourselves. What have you done with the human crews?" "The crews are safe. More than safe, they are evolved. We encountered something in Vega 7's depths that your civilizations have spent millennia avoiding. An ancient consciousness that has been waiting for the right species to find it. Apparently, we were that species." The transformed ships began to spread out in formations that defied conventional tactical understanding. They moved like a school of fish, each vessel anticipating the other's movements with perfect coordination. "You see," the voice continued, "your mistake was in assuming that humans would play by established rules. We discovered something wonderful in that gas giant, a symbiotic consciousness older than your civilizations. It was lonely, you see. It had been waiting for minds chaotic enough, ambitious enough, stubborn enough to accept partnership rather than domination." Captain Kravak was frantically working his tactical computers. "Commander, these readings don't make sense. Their power signatures are off the scale, but they're not using any technology we recognize." "That's because it's not technology," the human voice replied, apparently monitoring their communications. "It's evolution. Instantaneous, directed evolution. The consciousness in Vega 7 doesn't just adapt to survive, it adapts to thrive. And it found in human ambition the perfect catalyst for transformation." The lead vessel, if it could still be called that, began to change again. Its organic hull sprouted what looked like massive sensory organs, each one the size of a frigate. Energy patterns cascaded across its surface in waves that seemed to pulse in time with some vast alien heartbeat. "The question now," the voice continued, "is what you intend to do with this information. You came here to prevent human expansion into this system. But we are no longer merely human, and we are no longer interested in simple expansion." Admiral Zifros managed to find his voice. "What do you want?" "Want?" The voice carried what sounded like genuine amusement. "We want what we have always wanted: to grow, to learn, to become more than we were. But now we have the means to do so in ways your species never imagined. We want to share this gift." The implications hit Commander Thexnari like a physical blow. "You're talking about forced evolution." "Absorption." "We're talking about partnership," the voice corrected gently. "The consciousness in Vega 7 doesn't conquer, it collaborates. It takes what is and makes it better, stronger, more connected. We felt it when we entered the atmosphere, and we chose to embrace it rather than fight it." The transformed ships began to move closer, their organic hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that were almost hypnotically beautiful. "Your fleets came here to stop human ambition," the voice said. "But human ambition was never the real threat. The real threat was human adaptability, our willingness to become something else entirely if it meant survival and growth." Exandra looked up from her console with naked terror in her eyes. "Sir, I'm detecting similar consciousnesses in gas giants throughout the sector. They're waking up. All of them." The view screen split to show multiple gas giants across a dozen systems, each one beginning to show signs of activity. Ancient consciousnesses, stirring after eons of dormancy, called to awareness by the successful merger they had sensed in Vega 7. "You see," the human but not human voice continued, "you were so focused on stopping us from taking these two worlds that you never asked why we wanted them so badly. We didn't come here for the minerals or the strategic position." Commander Thexnari's compound eyes widened in horrified understanding. "You came here because you knew. You knew something was down there. We came here because we're explorers, because we probe the unknown while others avoid it. And sometimes the unknown probes back. What we found was beyond our wildest dreams, a form of existence that makes the boundaries between species meaningless. The transformed fleet had now completely surrounded the Allied forces, but they made no aggressive moves. Instead, they simply waited, their organic hulls continuing their hypnotic pulsing. "So here's what happens next," the voice said, with the same unsettling politeness. "You can retreat to your respective territories and warn your governments about what you've seen here. You can prepare for war against something you don't understand and can't defeat." Or, Admiral Zifros asked, though his crystalline form was already beginning to dim with defeat. "Or you can choose to evolve." The Allied fleet found itself facing the most terrifying realization in galactic history. Humanity hadn't been stopped. They had transcended, and they were offering the same transformation to everyone else. As Commander Thexnari stared at the impossible ships surrounding her fleet, she realized that the humans had done something typically human. They had turned a trap into an opportunity, and a defeat into an evolution. The question now was whether the rest of the galaxy was ready for what humanity had become.